Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Pod at the Palace, a postseason Pod at the Palace, if you will. Scottie Bordelon, Curtis Wilkerson here from Natty State Sports to do a little SEC tournament preview, a little big board update action, and, just try to wrap our heads, Scottie, around the fact that 1 week from now, we will have a NCAA tournament bracket, and the transfer portal will be open. It's crazy that we've made it to this point, but there's also some basketball left to be played between now and then. So good times.
For sure. Yeah, this is my favorite time of the year, 100%. And usually, you don't really get to enjoy it a whole lot. Like, obviously you enjoy, when Arkansas is involved, we travel wherever the team goes. And that's a whole lot of fun going from, Buffalo to San Fran to Des Moines to Vegas. Like and you've gone to Indy with this team too, so that's always fun. But you don't really get to watch just a ton of the games.
Yeah,
like last year, I remember Arkansas wins, they beat Illinois, and then we get to watch the tail end of Texas A&M season, which may have been the highlight of the trip.
It's good times.
Me. Had us a cold snack and watched the season wind down on Buzz Williams and the boys. That was
ain't nothing wrong with that.
That
man.
was a good time. And then we also got to see the end of that Fairleigh Dickinson Purdue game when we were wrapping up, leaving the arena that night. But like the other games, you don't really get to pay a whole lot of attention to them. We'll probably get to pay more attention this year, and we'll have one eye on the games and one eye on the portal.
Facts. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But Arkansas has at least an opportunity. It's not over until it's over. Let's just put it that way. But they do go to Nashville for the SEC tournament this week, and it's going to be a situation where they have to do something that hasn't been done before. They're going to have to win 5 games in 5 days. That has not happened since the SEC tournament has been in its current format. Daunting task. We'll certainly talk about their draw and maybe what some of the things they're going to have to do, which will probably, also include some luck and some good fortune to get it done. But before we do, I think, and we'll see if you agree here, despite taking a loss over the weekend at Alabama to close the regular season, frustrating game.
Yeah.
I almost feel like Arkansas is walking into Nashville with a little bit of momentum, though, because it's hard to deny, given the competitiveness of that game, that they're playing way better basketball.
For sure.
And it's kind of basketball that could win them some games this week.
Yeah. I mean, we did what we know from the sixth flow after the Alabama game the other day. The second thing that I knew, or the second thing I talked about was I don't think that, Vanderbilt's not excited to see Arkansas, I'm sure, even though Vandy came into Bud and won. But that Vandy team, in the same vein, just closed the regular season with a big win over Florida.
Yeah,
didn't really do anything for them. I felt like they were very much locked into that game. But Florida's a solid team. I mean, that's definitely a tournament team in my eyes. And second game potentially with South Carolina. I don't know that South Carolina wants to see this Arkansas team. They might like to see them from a defensive standpoint. Now, what Arkansas is doing offensively, might give them a little bit of pause. We talked about it before we hit record. We're expecting a win, maybe 2.
Yeah.
In Nashville, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility whatsoever.
I packed 5 suits.
Yeah, as Mike Anderson used to say, that was a constant when Mike Anderson was here. Bob would always ask him, "So how many suits are you packing?" And he's like, "How many games are we playing, Bob?"
There we go. No, I think I'm with you, man. I do think this team's going to go down there and win a couple games. I think they're going to play until at least Friday, and we'll see what happens after that. But I feel like if you can go compete the way you did at Kentucky, handle LSU the way you handled them, and then essentially they were the better team than Alabama for 39 minutes and found a way to lose that game. I get it. Like, you got to win, and it's frustrating because, as good as Arkansas has played, or as much better as they've looked of late compared to, this time a month ago, they're still 2-3 in their last 5. So, it's not amounting to a lot more wins. But like Muss said, and like some of the guys have said, you can't deny the progress that they've made, and they're connected and locked in, and now they're going to have to really be that way, because if you go back and look at the season schedule, Arkansas's got to win 5 games in 5 days. They haven't won more than 3 games in a row, period, all season.
That is true.
And they haven't won more than 2 in a row in SEC play, and they only did that once. So
yeah, I think I was looking at KenPom the other day, looking for like the shortest win streaks an Arkansas team's had in a season this century, and I believe this season, I think this is the shortest.
I think I remember you said, yeah, like the next was 4 in
yeah,
way
and
back.
it was when Arkansas won 4 in 4 days.
Oh yeah,
at the SEC tournament, like in 2000, I think, when they won it. So like there have been teams that have won 4 in 4 days. There's been several. Arkansas is one of them, but nobody's done 5 in 5. It's almost like this tournament. Like if you're one of the bottom 4 seeds, it's almost designed to get you the heck out of there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because like Arkansas, if they win, you know, we were texting back and forth about this the other day because I got kind of obsessed with the bracket stuff the other day and the scenarios and whatnot. Arkansas is going to play the first game, and then if they win, they'll play the 4th game of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, dude.
Yeah.
That's really tough.
Yeah, I was doing the math on that, and so it would be a 6 o'clock Central tip on Wednesday. And, so by the time that game's over, it'll probably be close to 8:30, and then they would tip at 2:30 the next day. I cannot wait to get a quote from us on that.
Yeah, it's not ideal. There's going to be some sore feet.
Yeah,
those
man.
guys. For
Yeah,
sure, if they
that's
make it to
you
the
got enough
second
time
day.
to go shower and change uniforms and come back.
Yeah, but again, the Bahamas trip, you've got experience with these short turnarounds.
Yeah.
And so maybe that way down the line is, maybe it pays some dividends for this team.
Yeah.
Because they're used to the short preps and, the feeling of knowing how your body is going to react to playing a game the previous day and then the next day and then potentially the next day. They'll be used to it. They got to handle business on day 1 first, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a feeling we could talk to Muss a little bit later in the day today on Monday, and I have a feeling that's very much going to be his theme because I know I'm going to want to ask him some things about having to go 5 for 5 and what that looks like, and I'm sure he's going to give me, well, we're focused on one game at a time.
Yeah.
That's fine. I understand that. But it's true. Like you can't overlook Vanderbilt, a team that beat you on your home floor,
Right.
and like you said, a team that beat Florida to close out the regular season. I just know that's a game that Arkansas really wishes they had back, and so they get an opportunity to avenge that loss here. Just thinking back to that, it wasn't that far ago, so we don't have to think back too far, but it seemed coming out of the gates that Arkansas was just going to run them off the floor. I mean, they got up double digits real quick, looked in control, and then they just had a 25-minute stretch there in the middle section of the game where they just fell off a cliff, man.
Yeah, Ezra Manjon gave them the business
Yeah,
to close the
so
half.
quick. They have to keep that dude in front. Tyron Lawrence is a bucket. We know that. Friend of the portal board, and then Vin Allen Lubin, who's at the top left above your shoulder there. That's the 3-headed monster, man. That's pretty much what they have.
Yeah,
So,
that's it. Yeah, we came back in here after that game and was like, look, they have 3 beating hearts that you basically have to take care of. And the build on Vin Allen Lubin's profile is still open. And
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm close to writing your team around him, but maybe your front court. Maybe.
he's my kind of guy, man.
Yeah.
He's
a problem.
Yeah, he's a nice player, and if you remember, he's a guy who's super, super active for a big fella, and he kind of gave Mekhi Mitchell the business. So
I have some fun news to report too about Vin Allen Lubin in that Florida game. 25 points, 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 7 at the line, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks or 2 steals.
that's
a stat line.
that'll play. Yeah. That'll work.
No turnovers in 32 minutes against Florida. Todd Golden was locked in on him, and he still gave him 25 and 11. That's signs of a good player right there.
Whew, yeah, Mekhi's gonna have to be a lot better in this game than he was the last time they played. He's been terrific since, and he also was before. So I don't know what was going on with that matchup, but it wasn't his night.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that Mekhi Mitchell versus Vin Allen Lubin would be one of the better front court matchups of the SEC tournament?
No joke. With Tyron Lawrence and Caleb Battle, that's going to be
man.
interesting to watch too. Tyron Lawrence the other day against Florida, he had 14. He was the guy that hit the game winner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 14 points, 7 boards, a couple of assists, and Ezra Manjon, he he had 22 against Arkansas. He had 17 the next game against LSU, 17 the next game against Kentucky, and then he had 8 the other day with 5 assists and 3 steals. So he's like, you got to keep him in front, and you have to, you got to limit his playmaking. He finished the regular season 8th in assist rate in the league, so he's looking to set the table for others too. But if you can consistently blow by your guys, not much sense in. You can get to the rim. He's probably not looking for guys. So you got to.
Right.
It's all about keeping him in front for sure.
Yeah. Ooh. I do think Arkansas is going to win this game.
Yeah.
That would be.
Ken Palm's got Arkansas projected to win by 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's a de facto home game for Vanderbilt, if you will. I don't know what that means, but
I don't know how many people are going to drive down the street after they've been watching them in Nashville all year.
Yeah, exactly. But after that, you get to, and I think the point here that we're getting into is, nothing about this is ideal. Like playing Wednesday Sadness and having to win 5 in as many days to extend your season. You don't like that, but given the circumstances, it's a pretty favorable draw for Nashville. Like it's set up for Arkansas to make a run if the cards fall right there. Like we were looking at the scenarios relentlessly all last week, and it was like, oh, they might get Vanderbilt and have to play Kentucky the next day. Mm-hmm. Oh, if it shakes out this way, they'll get Auburn on day 2, or they'll this works though, and that's not a knock on South Carolina. I just think it's a better matchup for Arkansas than some of those other teams in the second round. And another game where, listen, South Carolina, they beat Arkansas, straight up, and it was in convincing fashion. I think they beat them 13 at Bud Walton Arena.
Yep.
Absolutely the better team on that given night, but it was one of those games where Arkansas just completely laid an egg, man. They looked flat, disinterested. It was one of those where Muss and even the guys on the team were questioning effort and everything after the game. And I think they're past that part of it now. So again, it's another one that you're like, I remember after that game thinking, well, I would love Arkansas to get another shot at South Carolina.
Yeah.
And they're good. Colin Murray Boyles, the freshman, we know he's a player. BJ Mack, the big fella, gave him fits last time.
He was the difference in the game.
Yeah, he's a horse. If you guys don't remember him, he's 6'8", 260, and how many threes did he hit against Arkansas?
He hit 3.
Yeah, he hit 3 threes. He was a problem. Michi Johnson, really good in the backcourt.
Arkansas let Talon Cooper go 3 for 3 from deep too.
Yeah, and he's another table setter. So like they're gonna have to really guard, and not to mention Razorback killer Josh Gray. We haven't forgotten about the 7-footer Josh Gray.
Yeah, he played a whole 9 minutes in the first meeting. Had 6 points. Like that's just what he does against Arkansas. He finds a way. Colin Murray Boyles is a guy, like he's on the board. I think he's on the other side.
On the other side, yeah.
But he's a player. But I just keep going back to how BJ Mack just had Arkansas's bigs running in circles that day.
Mm-hmm.
And, he hits a couple of threes, and it just seemed like all the momentum went to South Carolina's side. The thing that gives me a little bit of optimism, Curtis, going into this is, we went into the post game. Gosh, what was it? My mind is slipping right now. It was the LSU home game, so it was a senior night game.
Yeah.
Arkansas had lost to LSU previously, and then Mike Haywood comes in the post game, and he's like giving these numbers on Arkansas's success rate or their record in revenge games. Like you lose to a team earlier in the year, you get your get back. Vanderbilt and South Carolina are get back games.
Yep.
Auburn on Friday would be a get back game.
Mm-hmm.
Eric's good in those situations, whatever it is. It's like, he's got the scout going into the first game, and then you go back to it, make some tweaks based on, how the first meeting played out, and you go in with what you feel like is probably even a better plan than the first time.
Right.
So if Arkansas just learns from mistakes, they could be staying a while.
For sure. And, South Carolina, 25-6, man, that's a hell of a season, regular
Unreal.
season. But they're 49th in the net. And so I think that tells you a little bit about, maybe the competition on that schedule. I mean, they've made it through the SEC slate at this point. But, your typical 25-6 SEC team is a hell of a lot higher than 49th.
For sure.
So it shows you that there's still...
Yeah, 47th on KenPom, too.
Yeah, so, that's it's not a tough, or it's not an easy matchup by any means, but it's not your typical what you'd expect from a team with that kind of record. Auburn, who just beat the absolute brakes off of Arkansas and Bud Walton, I think they've won. They might have won every win they had might have been by double digits this season, and I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, no joke.
Would have to go back and look at it, but the one thing I'll say about Auburn, and I pointed this out to you the other day, is they're 24-7 on the season. They played 31 games. They have one quadrant 1 win all season. One. And Arkansas is not a quad 1 game for them.
Correct.
But, the same idea. It's a top 10 caliber team, but it's not like they've just been, dominating all the good competition they've been playing. I don't even know how you make it through a season like that with the I need to go check on it because I think they've won every game by double digits.
Yeah, so we got 15, 24, 17, 30, 17, bigger than 10. I can't do math fast. 25, 16, I think you're right. They have not had to win a close competitive game this year.
Right.
Like the games that have been close, lost to Baylor in the season opener, lost to App State, lost to Alabama, lost to Mississippi State, and then they got blown out at Florida, then an 11-point loss to Kentucky, and then an 8-point loss to Tennessee.
Yeah, and so you hear mixed in there some, teams that are kind of in the same vein as Arkansas. So if you get down there and you get them in a close game, it's fair to wonder how they're going to respond in those situations. And I think some of it goes back to, I don't think this is an elite championship level backcourt. What they have with Janai Broome and Jalen Williams, good luck.
Yeah,
handling those guys.
Yeah, Dylan Cardwell too, dude. He gets in the game, he'll throw down a dunk, and he'll like forehead butt the ball out of bounds.
Right.
Like he's that kind of guy.
Yeah. Obviously, we're Chad Baker Mazzara fans, on the wing. But when you're talking about Denver Jones and Aiden Holloway, those guys are good. Trey Donaldson, they're good. They're solid, but they're not elite guards. And I think that's the reason that they're, liable to get got at some point. I think Arkansas is going to make it to that game. I think they're going to make it to that Auburn game on Friday. I don't know that I would say that they're going to beat Auburn.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out, but I have a feeling that Arkansas is going to play until at least Friday. If they make it beyond that, they're losing.
A couple of things here. Looking at Auburn's page, their KenPom page, their best win by the ratings on that site is Alabama. It's their best win.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, it's A&M is their second best. Or Mississippi State's their second best, and then A&M. Secondly, Auburn's got one of the best home court advantages in college basketball. Like it's flat out. Like they just don't lose there very often. It takes a Kentucky this year type of team to go in there and win.
Yeah.
I just wonder, a team that feeds off of its crowd as much as an Auburn does. Auburn fans they're definitely going to travel, but it's not going to be Neville in Nashville.
Yeah.
That's a team it's obviously it's got enough energy guys that they can pack it up and take it on the road, but it's not the same.
Right.
Some of those guys they feed off the home crowd. They got their own energy without the crowd, but it goes up to another level with those home fans. I just wonder how they play on a neutral court, and I wonder if that's factored in the past in a lack of a deep run in March.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree with that completely. And if Arkansas gets beyond that point, they'd be looking at Tennessee, right? Saturday, unless Tennessee gets popped, and that's
Tennessee. Yeah, I mean they'd have to get popped by Mississippi State or LSU. I don't think that's
going to happen. Yeah, imagine playing your fourth game in as many days and seeing Tennessee
and Dalton Connect.
Well, yeah,
yeah, not ideal.
that's That's a tough one. But like we pointed out, there's some wiggle room there for them to have an extended stay. And hopefully they do. I wouldn't mind staying in Nashville for a while. So
yeah, that's cool. I like the city.
Yeah.
Spent New Year's there one time. It was a good time.
Ooh, I like that. Does sound like a good
Really
time.
good time.
And I guess again, like none of this is ideal. And you look at Arkansas and it's like they're in this spot for a reason. Like they're the 12th seed in the SEC for a reason. They finished 6-12 in the league for a reason. So I get it. Like they stink. It's not a good basketball team in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like the ingredients for a team who's playing on Wednesday night to make a run into the weekend, I think Arkansas possesses a good amount of those. They've got a two-headed monster in the backcourt that can fill it up and take over games.
Mm-hmm.
In KB and Tremont Mark. I think they've got maybe the depth that you need, and this is something I've been trying to figure out how to ask Muss about it today, because they've really narrowed down kind of a top 8 rotation.
Definitely.
Like they've got their
Yeah.
guys, but 8's not going to get it done if you're gonna win this many games.
Yeah.
So you're going to have at some point guys who can come in and give you a lift and give these guys a blow, whether it's Wednesday or not, probably not. But once you get into Friday, Saturday, if you make a run, you need that. And I think it's really beneficial for Arkansas to have a Layden Blocker who's
sure.
started games in this league and can be a firecracker for you. A Keon Minifield who, when the legs are tired, can come in and change the pace
Sure.
and make some plays. A Jalen Graham who you can dump the ball inside and get some buckets when guys are tired and all the shots are falling short.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of benefit to that, and I wonder what the conversations from the staff to those guys have been like as they've kind of fallen out of the rotation.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get where you want to get, like you're going to have those guys at a point here.
Yeah. I think it's good to have guys, like several guys rested.
Yeah, man.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the 8 guys that have been playing, they're going to probably keep playing for definitely the first game, more than likely the second game. The only reason I could imagine that we'll see maybe more than 8 or 9 in the first couple of games is foul trouble, or somebody rolls an ankle and can't go. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like it's we're still kind of wondering about the status of Jalen Graham because he was back, and then the academic stuff, and then he hasn't played. Gosh, when was the last time that JG played?
It's a good question, man.
Anyway,
it was whenever he hurt his shoulder that day.
Yeah, it was. Tennessee. Yeah, he hasn't played since Valentine's Day. It's going to be almost a month by the time Arkansas gets to Nashville. It'll be a month since he's played a game. You kind of worry about. I don't know if worry is the right word, but yeah, game shape, his conditioning. But I think you just tell him out of game shape or in game shape, just go give us a few minutes. Go give us a couple really good minutes, and just contribute. Like there's no shame in just contributing to a win if you play 8 or 9 minutes.
Right.
Like those 8 or 9 minutes could potentially be the difference in a game.
Do you remember when we were in the Bahamas and it was very apparent on that third day Arkansas was dead, like no legs whatsoever, and I think that was a game where I don't think Trevin Brazile scored. Maybe Devo didn't either, but it was very apparent like you were going to need some help to get you through that game.
Yeah.
And like in the first half, they put in Joseph Pinion and Denaje Harris got in there. Bayfall was in there for a while, guarding Armando Bacot.
Yeah, he was in there banging with Bacot.
Yeah, dude. But they just brought such a spark, and it was a situation where I think that energy kind of propelled them to, they might have been leading. Were they leading that game at halftime, or they made a good run and they were definitely in position to win that game.
Yeah,
But
I think they were up 38-35 at
Yeah,
half. 'Cause
yeah, there you go.
Blocker got a steal right at the end of the half and put a dunk down.
that's what you're going to need if
sure.
you're going to get through there. And I think it's a lot different in Arkansas's case to have guys who they can turn to for those situations who've started games in this league this season.
Yeah.
And been big. You think about Blocker, like he was a big contributor in a win over Duke, earlier in the year. So like these are guys who've done it before. It's not like just turning to dudes who just haven't played all year or haven't played since, Mississippi Valley State or something. Like there's, something to it. So
sure.
I think that's something that Arkansas has that if there is a silver lining in them playing 95 different lineup combinations this year, maybe that's it. I don't know.
It did feel like 95 until like the last 7 games of the regular season.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I definitely remember those Bay Fall minutes. Is he had a defensive rebound and then he blocked a shot. I can't remember who he blocked at the rim. It could have been Ingram or Baycott or somebody. But he gave them 3 minutes, and those 3 minutes were just, they felt massive.
Oh, yeah.
They felt massive because he's in there not only spelling somebody who really probably needed a break at that point or just wasn't playing well, but he was productive in those minutes. Like I don't think he stood out in in a negative way. You're probably going to need that again, and you're probably, if you do get to that third day, you're probably going to find yourself on a Janai Broom or on a Jalen Williams or a Dylan Cardwell. And you just need the Men in Black memory eraser thing and just go in there and just play hard. Like, it doesn't matter who you're playing against or who you're matched up with. Just give max effort. And just try to maximize those minutes. And those, like I mentioned, like those small segments of a game can flip a game on its head. Yeah, no doubt about it. Man, I'm kind of eager to see potentially Blocker, that if they get to a third day, what kind of a role he might have with those guards. They're gonna feel like they're gonna need some. Like, as Auburn can score now. Auburn can score, and their guards are really explosive, or can be explosive, and if Blocker's got fresh legs on fresh-legged Auburn guards, buckle up, dude. That'd be fun to watch.
That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun indeed. And then, the other thing, you mentioned come next week, like, we're going to have one eye on the NCAA tournament, one eye on the portal. Like, we're going to have kind of one eye on Nashville and one eye on the portal while we're down there, because we're already getting to the point where seasons are ending for teams, and you're starting to hear guys, like, the portal doesn't open until Monday, but people are kind of declaring, like, hey, I'm going, like, I'm in there. And so some names are starting to come out. The coaching carousel is starting to heat up. There's a bunch of coaches got fired. I know UCA's looking for a coach. Missouri State's looking for a coach. Maybe Arkansas will go get Chance Moore and have him run it back. Just kidding, everyone. But Washington, we talked about them a little bit. I don't know if we plucked anybody off of that roster when we were looking at.
I don't think we did the first. I think I had Washington the first time around, and the only guy that I kind of liked was Keon Brooks.
Yeah,
I think, and he's a retread that I don't think he's got any years left.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's heating up. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. A couple guys, maybe of note, if we're going to do a little bit of an update here. But here's the thing, like, we don't want to update this hypothetical board too much, because, like, it's going to become real here next week. So, a lot of our focus is going to go towards dudes who actually hit the portal, and we think a good amount of the guys who we already have on our list will do that. But two guys that I want to talk to you about. One is Cameron Hunter from UCA, a Bryant kid. And this is kind of funny because he hit the portal last year, and I think he visited Arkansas, like, in between Des Moines and Vegas. And, he was very interested in coming. I think he would have. I think Arkansas went in a different direction. And then he committed to Butler, then decommitted, and then was going to go back to UCA. Then he got hurt, and he didn't play at all this season. Now he's back in the portal, and you're seeing some things come out there that
what a year.
Yeah, would love to come back to Arkansas and play on the Hill and everything. I don't see it happening personally. Like, if they didn't take him last year, I don't know why it would be any different after he didn't play for a season.
Right.
But you never know. And the one thing I will say is Arkansas, like we've mentioned, is looking for a lot of pieces. Like, it's going to kind of be a complete rebuild of the roster here. So just maybe a name to be aware of, but I'd be surprised if anything really, really materialized from it.
Yeah, same here. I don't know that. I might use my veto power.
Yeah, he's not going on the board.
Okay, good with me.
Yeah,
I remember when his name was kind of hot last year, maybe early on. I don't know if hot's even the right way to say it, but I was aware of him, and I ended up writing the full commitment analysis on him. So maybe if it does happen, I'll go grab my old laptop.
Nothing's
and
changed.
throw it online.
So,
yeah, nothing's
yeah.
changed other than like he was hurt this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know what his injury was. Nice kid,
Yeah.
and a really good player at that level. I think if he did wind up at Arkansas, he would be a role player type.
Yeah.
But he fits the mold in a sense of being a tough physical kid that'll defend and get after it and
Yeah.
be a good teammate. So we'll see
Always
what
like
happens.
Bryant
But
kids. Bryant kids are tough.
oh yeah, for sure. Another one, and a very interesting name, and this one is going on the board, Javon Porter. And this is a kid who is a sophomore at Pepperdine. He's going to give you big Trevin Brazil vibes. So 6'11", 220 pounds. He's from Columbia, Missouri. Younger brother of Michael Porter Jr., Jonte Porter. So people automatically think, oh, he's going to Mizzou. Not so fast. Quanzo Martin's not at Mizzou anymore.
Correct.
Neither is Porter Sr. He's not at Mizzou anymore. So, it's hometown, so you keep an eye on that maybe, but it's not a given. Good player, man. 16.2 points per game, 5.9 rebounds, nearly 2 assists per game as a 6'11" kid. So you definitely like to see that, but he's nice, man. He's a nice player. Over 70% from the free throw line. He was 77% at the free throw line. You like that from that position. He can shoot the three a little bit. It was a little bit down this year, so just a tick under 30%, but he made 28 threes. Last year as a true freshman, he shot 35% from three. On a decent amount of volume, he shot nearly 100. Again, as a 5-man or a stretch 4 or whatever, that's a pretty good amount of volume. So maybe one to keep an eye on and be aware of. I know Javon Porter. When I was working with Prep Hoops as a scout in Missouri, I probably watched him, God, man, like 30 times when he was younger. I think he's been like 6'10", 6'11" since he was 14 years old or something. Like
Must be nice.
He was always way taller than everybody else and was a lot of fun to watch. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people assumed he would ultimately wind up at Missouri. Well, then, Quanzo's out of there, and he wound up going to Pepperdine. And I thought that was weird. I thought it was cool from a sense of it's kind of nice out there,
Sure.
like it would be a cool place to hang out. But I thought he was a high major caliber player, and I have a feeling that he's going to try his hand to play up a level. So, keep an eye on.
You can't turn down playing in Malibu, dog.
Nah, man.
You can't. On the Missouri front with the Porter deal, I think any opportunity you get to not play for a program that just went 0-18 in the league, I think you got to take it. You got to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that joke lands with somebody. I don't know. Missouri's probably just not going to be the place. I could be totally wrong. I mean, he's a Columbia kid, but is Dennis Gates still going to be there?
Man, I don't know.
After this week?
There's some thought that he might be just because he's got that good incoming freshman class, but goodness, I don't.
Well, you're going to go 0-18 and then depend on a bunch of freshmen?
Right. Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe he talks Javon into being one of the transfer guys that can fit around some of these freshmen. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think he deserves better than old Mizzou.
Yeah, he could still be close to home.
Yeah.
Be in Fayetteville. I could be okay with that. It'd be all right.
For sure.
And the other beauty of this is, all the power conferences end, their conference tournaments on Saturday, Sunday. But we're going to see a lot of these mid-majors. Some of these league tournaments have already concluded.
Yeah.
Some of them will be, throughout the course of the week. So some of these guys on like the mid-major section of the board are ones to really keep an eye on. Like their seasons end, and then you start looking around. It's like, okay, when are some of these guys going to declare that they're going to explore their options and hit the portal? And I think we got a good handful that maybe coming up.
For sure. Yeah, I texted you and Ellis yesterday and was like, I think it was East Tennessee State was playing. Gosh, I can't remember who they beat. They came back from down 20. It was like that SoCon tournament delivers like almost unlike any other conference tournament. So yeah, keep an eye on Samford, Accor, and Samford playing in the SoCon finals against that East Tennessee State team that. Serious.
Yeah, man.
Accor is going to get tested on his manhood on the glass.
Right.
East Tennessee State finished with 24 or 25 offensive rebounds yesterday. But yeah, Old Dominion. So some schools, I went back and looked at the board and looked at schools who have completed conference tournaments. Old Dominion season's over. Unless like some new alphabet postseason tournament that invites teams 18 games under 500 or invited, they're done. Finished the season 7-25, lost to UNC Asheville. So you're looking at Chauncey Jenkins and Vashon Aleti. Gardner Webb lost in the Big South tournament, 17-16 overall. I don't know what kind of a postseason bid that they could get, but Julian Sumaro, who I put up there not too long ago, he's one to watch. UNC Greensboro lost in the SoCon tournament, 21-11 overall. They were a first-round bounce in that tournament, I think. Lost to a team that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like just the fool-around gang
right
in that first game. But Mikael Brown-Jones is a guy that we really like. Dude, Ford Truck Month, how about it?
I don't know what's happening.
Stanford, they play Cal in the Pac-12 tournament on Wednesday. Stanford's not had a good season. They're 13-17 overall. We got Maxime Reynaud on there. Furman, we basically got their whole starting five.
The whole squad.
The whole squad's on the board. Lost to Samford in the SoCon tournament. Another team that's 17-16 overall. So we'll be looking for J.P. Pegues, Marcus Foster, and Alex Williams. And then UNC Wilmington lost to Towson in the CAA tournament, 21-10 overall. They might get some kind of a postseason
CBI
bid.
or something.
Yeah.
Low NIT. Maybe.
So look for Trezarian White. Like Trezarian White, I might have his noties on.
Yeah.
For sure. Like J.P. Pegues and Trezarian White. I'm going to follow you probably this week and just pray on Sunday night that I wake up to a notification.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be one of those deals, but yeah.
If one of us slide into your DMs, just hit us back.
Yeah, just hit us back.
It's fine.
It'll be all good. But yeah, those are the guys that conference tournament season has ended for them, or I guess in Maxime Renaud's case, he's getting ready to play in it. And there's this is like big conference tournament like week, so like for major conferences. So just be pay attention to those guys. And if you're wondering who exactly to be looking for, we've got the big board online, so you don't have to just rely on what you're seeing back behind me.
For sure. Well, it's about to get real. In terms of our schedule for the Pot at the Palace this week, it's going to be a little bit different. You know, like we're traveling, Scottie and I, down to Nashville tomorrow on Tuesday to get settled in, and we're going to be there as long as Arkansas is. And so I don't know if we'll do a Vanderbilt preview for for Wednesday. We might put a little something short out there, but as far as Arkansas goes, we're going to cover it. So we're taking the stuff down there, and we'll be ready maybe to do some stuff on South Carolina if they make it to that, and review some of the things we see from the game. Should have open locker rooms. We can go in there and get some one-on-ones with some of the players from start to finish, and so a lot of good content coming. We're looking forward to that. So be on the lookout, whether it's for a Pot at the Palace episode or some different things on our YouTube feed. Obviously, a lot of written content, and hopefully we're there for a while. Maybe we're watching Selection Sunday in Nashville. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
It would kind of stink if Arkansas made it to Sunday and lost, because then there's no way in hell they'd make the NCAA tournament, but we'd still be in Nashville.
Yeah.
I
just, I'm hopeful. I think they'll win Wednesday night. What I really want is more than one open locker room availability. Like, that would be good. And I'm telling you guys, like, this is a fun job. There are fewer things that I enjoy more than going into a postseason locker room after a win.
Yeah.
There is nothing like it.
Mm-hmm.
There really is. Like, the scene is crazy. The two that we got to see in Des Moines last year, nuts.
Yeah.
They were nuts. And you get so much good color for your stories in there. I was doing a one-on-one with Devo. I don't even know that he was supposed to be in the locker room at the time, like, because he did post-game, and then the guys that do post-game at the podium aren't supposed to go into the locker room, I don't think. He just wanted to be in there. And so I grabbed him, and then, he bear hugs Nick Smith. I got it all on video. And then Kamani Johnson sitting in the corner with his sunglasses on, talking about going to Vegas and hyping his guys up. Like, it's just it's a scene. So I'm hopeful that they'll get at least one, and hopefully two. I mean, that would be Be a pretty wild scene if they win 2 of the first 4 games in the tournament.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go back and look and see if that's been done before. Like a team has made it to the 3rd day by winning 2 of the first 4 games in the whole event.
2 wins in less than 24 hours.
That'd be wild. Yeah.
See what happens, man.
Crazy.
All right. Anything else?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Well, appreciate everybody. Like we say at the end of every show, appreciate you guys for rocking with us. It's been a wild season, but it's about to heat up, and it's postseason time. So continue to do that. Spread the word, because it's only going to get a little bit crazier from here. But for Scottie Bordelon, it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Natty State Sports, and we will see you guys in Nashville.